What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Jurassic World Dino Trackers Strike Attack Genyodectes Serus and Zuniceratops. Now, we did have previous releases for these two species, and we'll take a closer look at that here in a little bit. But yeah, I'm just happy to have these in the collection because, one, even though we've had previous releases, but the different action features and stuff. So that's always a good thing. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So first up, we have the Genyodectes Serus. I think that's how you pronounce it. But yeah, this is a particular species that lived in the Cretaceous period and is also a relative to the Ceratosaurus. So let's go ahead and crack it out of its packaging and take a closer look at it. So here is the packaging for the Genyodectes. So pretty much the same style as everything else, but the only thing different is the card back, and it has the forest symbol, and so we got this nice waterfall, foresty, river-looking backdrop. So it looks very cool. So let's go ahead and continue on. Alright, so here is the Genyodectes out of its packaging, and I must say, it's a very interesting, well, not sculpt, but paint scheme. Since this is supposedly supposed to be the forest edition of this particular species, you would think that it would have a little bit more forest vibe to it as far as the paint scheme goes. This is more like a desert vibe to me. But it is what it is. But it's a little bit more dull, in my opinion. And truth be told, we don't even know what this thing really looks like, because the only thing that, as of this recording, from what I've seen or read up, the only thing that they have is basically part of the bottom jaw and then part of the upper jaw, and that's it. They don't have anything beyond that I'm aware of, unless they made a new discovery that I don't know anything about. But yeah, so this is pretty much a made-up creature as far as the body sculpt and all that goes. But hey, who knows what these things look like in reality. Look how long it took for us to figure out what a Spinosaur looks like and how big the T-Rex is, and how each year or years have gone by, how that's evolved and stuff. So who knows how long it will take for us to get a full skeleton of this thing. But anyways, as far as the actual sculpt goes, it looks great. Just like all the other ones that I always say, that looks awesome. It's not as bright or vibrant as the previous Genyodectes that we got. And but as far as what it is, what they give us, it's a pretty cool sculpt. You just got that crocodile vibe back to it here, all the way down to the tail, and you could tell that this was pretty much dipped in this yellow plastic, and this was painted on there. And this is just a separate piece, as far as the arms, the legs, the bottom jaw, and this goes. These are all separate pieces. You can tell the different color differences, because that's a little darker and that's a little bit more brighter right there. So that's how I can tell that this was painted on. The brown was painted on. So, and then the head sculpt itself, the eye placement looks pretty good on this side. And then that looks so-so. It's alright. Not too bad. But but overall, it's still a good sculpt. It's very muscular detail here on the hind legs, especially here in the calf muscle. Got the bird-like feet right here, as far as that sculpt goes. And then here, you got the hinge and you get a hinge and ball joint at the arms right there. So got the small arms, and then it's just weird how they have the teeth going all the way back right there. So if you want it more realistic, they should have just stopped right there and just eliminated these back rows. Well, maybe the last 4 rows. It made more sense. But hey, I don't make these toys. And then you got the little crest right here above the eyes and here on the nose. And you got a little bit hanging down here at the bottom, you know. That could have been a separate color there in itself, you know. But overall, you know, it's a nice sculpt, you know. Then it's not as defined as all the others have been. It's mainly in the legs, and then here it's kind of a little rounded out in the stomach. Not as much detail or dents and definition like some other figures have been. And then you got the little skin flaps that have kind of folded here in the neck right there. So, but overall, you know, I like it. You know, it's not the best one, but I do like it. That being said, let's go ahead and go for the articulation. And you got an articulated tail here in the back. The legs go forwards and backwards. And the arms are on the ball and hinge, like I stated previously. So it goes in, out, forwards and backwards. Same thing here on the other side, forwards and backwards. Then in and out, forwards and backwards. And then here, you got the hinge right there. This one's a little stuck right there. My inner thigh is not as, it might be able to once you hit it with some little bit of hot water. But as far as the action feature goes, and before we get to that, let's get to this. So that way y'all can have that. So there's a little button right there. It's a little chomping action right there. So, good old chomping action. Alright, so as far as the comparisons goes, let's see if we can't get this there. Seems like that's a little warped right there. It's not as flush as this one is. Really both have the same standing issue. So, but here is the original one right here next to it. The extreme damage one. And as you can tell, that this is a little bit more vibrant, even though it's mostly gray. But the blue and the red crest right here makes it pop. It's a little bit more vibrant than this one. This one is just, yeah, it's okay. But I do love both of them, you know, but I just prefer this one. Just because of the way the paint scheme is, you know, it's a little bit more vibrant than that one is. So, what creatures lived alongside in the Cretaceous period with the Genyodectes? Well, here we have the Protoceratops. Now this should be a lot smaller. It should be like this, you know. But yeah, but this did live alongside it in the Cretaceous period. And then we have the Triceratops. The trike also lived alongside the Genyodectes. Now this is a smaller trike. It should be like twice as big, if not 3 times as big as what we got here. But it's a cool comparison. Then as far as a human goes, I believe this might be accurate. It might be should be a little bit taller, but I believe this might be right. If not, it should be a little bit bigger than what we got here. Alright, so that is the Genyodectes. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Next up we have the Zuniceratops, which also lived in the Cretaceous period. So let's go ahead and crack this thing out of its packaging. Alright, excuse me. So with this packaging, it's saying that it lived in the mountain regions. So, we're not sure if that's actually accurate or not. It probably might have or whatnot. But yes, this is the mountain style packaging for the mountain symbol. So you can tell it's got some forest right there, you know, trees, you know, a little bit of hills right there. So, looks very cool. Alright, so we have our Zuniceratops. Now, I do like this particular scheme because it does fit what the region that they presented this thing to be in. So it does have that mountain style look to it as far as the paint scheme goes. So I really do like that a lot. But it does have its differences compared to the other one, which we'll take a look at here in a little bit. But as you could tell, with the original one, it was all smooth out and everything. But like with the baby Brack, with the exception of this here on the back, it does have these osteoderms all alongside its side and everything. And it does look like it has a little bit of fur that they put here, or feathering here on top, all the way back down here. And the osteoderms go all the way here on the side of its stomach and right down here. And the tail's a little bit short, but it does look like ceratopsian. You know, it's got that ceratopsian style body. And then not a whole lot of definition to go off on. It's not as bulky or as muscular as its counterparts usually are. And so the only kind of muscle definition that you really get is here in the front legs. You know, the hind legs, it's okay. You know, it got a little bit of dent right there, a little bit of definition right there. But I do like the skin pattern that it's presented. You know, I like the way how that looks. You know. And the same thing here. Got the little dent here on the hind legs, you know, and a little bit here in the calf muscle, but very muscular front legs here. Looks like it's got bicep, triceps, and on big forearms right there. You know, and then the head sculpt looks really good. You know, I liked the fact that they painted the horns and the beak. You know, so that's very cool. And the eyes on point as well, so very good on that, on Mattel's part, for the eyes on this particular figure. So I do like how the crest looks. You know, I think that looks really cool. It's not plain Jane like the original one. You know, at least it had some kind of coloration to it. You know, not so much here on the back. As you could tell that this was just basically this stuck colored plastic. And the only paint that we got is the white paint here on the back, and then a little bit of black here on the neck. And then you got the little black right here around the eyes, all the way down the face, and here in the lower jaw area. But I'm really happy that they actually really did paint the beak. And the original has got paint on it too as well. So as far as the articulation goes, the tail goes all the way around. And then the legs go front, forwards, well, pretty much backwards, but not, oh, there we go. Forwards and backwards. And then here, you got the ball and hinge on the front legs. In and out. And then you got forwards and backwards. And then these are a little stiff, you know. Mine are. And then forwards and backwards and the hind legs back here. It's a little stiff. There we go. And then as far as the action feature goes, it's got a little button right there. So it's got that head ramming action right there. So most people would prefer it to have the head up like this, because it just droops down like that. It looks like it's eating something. But I think most collectors would prefer the head like that, you know. I'm just happy that we got a different feature for this particular species. Alright, let's go ahead and adjust his stance, so that way he can be flushed there. Alright, so let's go ahead and bring out the original. So here is the original Zuniceratops that we got. That was like a Beers pack or a attack pack that we got from the, is it the Minion line, I believe? Can't remember what line it was. But as you could tell, it's vastly different. The same species, but vastly different. This one has a lot more coloration to it because it's brightly colored. And then it's got the pattern that's like very rare that you would get from the neck all the way down to the tip of the tail. And the head sculpt is one solid color. And as you can tell, that the horns and the beak are painted. As for this one, It's pretty much one solid color, but you know, you get a little bit of paint here along the neck and here. So it's supposed to represent that mountain style environment, you know, to it. And then the crest here, and it was painted, got that white paint pattern right there. And then as far as I was telling you all about the back of it, you can tell it's a lot smoother. And then here it's got that little feathering or a little bit fur that's just alongside the back, you know. The texturing is different. As far as, you know, you got the osteoderms here. That's like on the side of it and along the side right there. So it's a lot smoother on the original release. So then you could probably have it looking down like that. But I believe that this one, well, it's about the same size. The only difference that makes it look like it's a little bit bigger is because the head sculpt is, you know, you can be able to move the head up and down. So same species, but vastly different in its own way, you know. So very cool. So what lived along this Zuniceratops? Well, here we got I already forgot its name. This species of ceratopsian, I just don't remember its name on the top of my head, so for that I apologize. But that did live alongside the Zuni. And then, for a larger species, we have the Sarcosuchus. So this also lived alongside the Zuniceratops. So you can tell how large this particular species is compared to the Zuni. Very cool. And then for a human comparison, we have Owen right here. And it's pretty much on par, I believe. If not, it could be a little bit about right there. So, I mean, they weren't very big ceratopsians. They were pretty on the smaller side. So, there you go. And then we have the Zuni with all of its wave mates. And there y'all go. That pretty much wraps up this review on the Genyodectes, or Sectes, however you pronounce it, and the Zuniceratops. So I hope you all enjoyed this review as much as I did filming it. So comment down below what you think of these two species and which ones were your favorite with the comparisons. And don't forget, words to wisdom. Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.